Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you could join us tonight. I'm so passionate about this in that as throughout the 20 plus years I've been doing coaching and consulting, over the last few years, ever since COVID, there seems to be a resounding theme that's happening with people that I talk to, and not just women, men as well, but people just, they're not happy, right? They may have years of experience and created a particular level of success. However, they're not happy. They're working their butt off and they're terrified to slow down because they want to keep that level of success and have fulfillment. So what I wanted to do in this webinar, and we have an amazing special offer for you at the end of this so you can continue your journey with us, but I really want to help people to understand there is a different way. You do not have to work yourself to death. And I'm speaking from experience. I gave myself shingles and COVID at the same time. So I am a recovering workaholic. And every day I consciously think about taking care of myself because I know that when I take care of myself, I am my best self. I show up in an amazing state and I actually get more done with less. But what I want to give you is faith. I want to give you information that will help you to trust that yes, you can slow down. Yes, you can face the fears that could be paralyzing you right now. And you can change your life. You can make it different on your terms, not just the way that I want my life to be, but what do you want your life to be like? And I'm not going to give you cookie cutter solutions either. They're going to be practical solutions that you can tweak so that they match you, so that they make sense for you in the worst and the best case scenario and your dream. So I'm going to jump in and I'm going to start sharing. I have a little presentation for you. Perfect. So I had to put a picture of the dog that has our entire family. We are completely obsessed with him. And I also do this because he shows us every single day the key to fulfillment, right? Which is taking care of yourself, enjoying every single moment, and unconditional love. That's what he gives us every day. And that's what we need to give ourselves, right? We need to give ourselves that unconditional love. That's one of the things that, as I was working through my own, I would say, I guess workaholic tendencies is all I can say, right? Pushing and driving and really pushing myself to illness. I recognize that there were a few key reasons why I was doing that. One of which is I didn't value myself the way that I should. I didn't love myself the way that I should have. And also, one of the things that I'm going to tell you a story in a minute, but one of the things that I recognized was my values were all out of skew. And I didn't realize the reason why I was pushing so hard because it wasn't just for success and money. There were underlying issues to that. So, if you've ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or like you're not living your potential, you're not alone. And I say that because one of the things that really paralyzed me was I felt so freaking alone. There were so many times when I thought I must be the only one experiencing this. And I was so afraid to really tell anyone. I was so afraid to be able to open up and be vulnerable because everyone else looked like they were just making it work. It was all amazing. Well, what I realized, and again, why I wanted to do this webinar, is all of us feel this way. We did a very quick promotion on this, and we had over 45 people join this. So many said, you know what, I can't make it, but I've got to see the recording. Can I register? Will you send it to me? And that's just a drop in the bucket. There are hundreds of people, that thousands, I would imagine, that feel this exact same way. So as I'm presenting, please feel free, put your questions in the chat. Chris will answer those for you. And then also during Q&A, I'm gonna, if people want to jump off of mute and they want to ask a question, Chris may read some of the questions that came up in the chat so that everyone can hear the answers, because not everyone watched the chat. So we'll make this a little bit more interactive as well. So uncover what's been keeping you stuck and start building your ideal life on your terms. Because that's the thing, it has to be on your terms. What I want my life to look like may not be what you want your life to look like, and that's okay. They're all right. So why should you listen to me? Why am I qualified? You can read the screen, so I'm not gonna go crazy on that. But what I wanted to tell you was a story, and I go through it in the book. And it was really a pivotal moment for me. And that was 22 years ago. I worked for a Fortune 500 company. I had been working for I was working on a large deal. It was a $500 million deal with United Airlines. We'd been working on it for a year and a half. And the CEO of United Airlines asked, can you bring your team, part of your team, not all of my team. We had a team of 25 working on the deal. I worked in IT outsourcing, and they are outsourcing their call centers to Nova Scotia. And he said, will you bring a part of your team to meet, to bring us to Nova Scotia so that we can see everything and we can walk through it, which was great, except I was 8 months pregnant, already supposed to be on bed rest, but I wasn't. And so what I did was I prepped my right-hand person. She was actually more qualified than I was. I was the quarterback of this, right? I was making things happen, but she had all the IT experience. So I had her prepped and I let my boss know, this is great. Here's what we're going to do. It's perfect. And he said, awesome. And she'll be getting your bonus, which was a 6-figure bonus. So they gave me the corporate jet and I went. And on the way home from Nova Scotia, I went into preterm labor with my daughter. She's fine and everything worked out. But as I was going to the hospital, not knowing that everything was going to be fine, I recognized that my life was upside down. I risked my life and my child's life for money, and I knew I had to get out. And so that's when I really dove into psychology and behavioral science, neurolinguistic programming, human design. I wanted to be able to really understand what drove me, what made me that driven for success. Because if you looked at me at that time, you would have thought all I valued was success and money. And it couldn't have been further from the truth. I had an amazing husband, a wonderful son, a daughter on the way. I mean, I had a wonderful life, but I didn't feel that. And what I recognized after doing some really hard looks at myself is that what drove me, I was an abused child. And my mother stayed in a marriage 10 years longer than she should have because she didn't feel financially secure enough to go out on her own and support us. So unconsciously, I was pushing so hard because I thought the money would keep me safe. I thought that it would make it so that I was never a victim again. Just that piece of awareness helped me to turn things around and helped me then to learn how I could support other people. Because what I know, my purpose in life is to share with people my experiences, how I have overcome the things that I have in my life, and teach them how they can do the same thing in their life. Not necessarily the exact same way I've done it, but giving you practical solutions for the challenges that you're experiencing. Because one of the things I want you to walk away from after this webinar is really understanding that challenges they can be some of the best things that happen to you. Some of the best lessons in my life that moved me forward, that helped me to be happier and more joyful and get success and reach my goals, were my failures. And my coach says we're either winning or we're learning. And that's it. There is no such thing as failure. So that's part of what I want to go over today. I want to talk about what's keeping us stuck and how we can get past it. So what keeps you stuck? It's fear, right? The only thing that ever stops us is fear. And the purpose of fear is to keep us safe. We obviously, when we're a kid, you put your hand on a stove. Oh my gosh, you get near it, you're afraid. Oh, that could hurt me. Well, yes, you're right, it could. And that's the reptilian brain. And it was developed when we were cavemen, cave women. And we had to stay the same to survive. If you think about it, when at that point in our evolution, if you just veered off going to get water and took a different path, you could have been eaten by a tiger, right? If you went into another village or to another cave or what have you, you could be killed because they're protecting their territory. Well, we don't live in that world anymore. Yet our brain responds in the same way unless we consciously make an effort to change it. Because the moment that fear comes in, we are in reaction and we're afraid of what's going to happen next. That's what fear is. We're afraid of what's going to happen or what's not going to happen next. And every time we give into that fear, there's a chemical response. And the brain the brain doesn't get bigger, but your response gets bigger. So let me give you an example. I actually have, I'm not Adele, but I have a good singing voice. It's passable, right? And I enjoy it. However, singing karaoke terrifies me, used to terrify me. And the first time I went to go sing karaoke, I was like, it doesn't feel right. I don't really want to do it. I'm kind of afraid. I don't want to do it anyway. I wasn't terrified. It wasn't paralyzing, but I was afraid. So I didn't do it. The next time after that, I made an excuse and I felt a little more fear. Until the fourth or the fifth time that I didn't do it, it was a paralyzing fear. The thought of me getting on that stage made me want to throw up. In fact, I would feel nauseous. However, when I felt that and I did it anyway, and I got on that stage and I started to sing, trust me, it was not my best. However, it didn't kill me. I didn't die. No one threw anything at me. No one laughed. And every time I did it after that, it got easier and easier. So we need to feel the fear and do it anyway. So how does fear show up? Imposter syndrome. Men have this too, and it's big for women. I hear it all the time. I have started 4 businesses. Every single time, whether it was a partnership with someone else or my own business on my own, every time I was afraid, especially the first time when I left corporate. After getting off that corporate jet, I never went back to corporate again. The first business I started, I had no idea what I was doing. And I knew that. And I decided I'm going to fake it till I make it. However, what that did was it told my brain, maybe you can't do it, because I was doubting myself, right? I would procrastinate on doing things because I'm like, oh, maybe this isn't what I should be doing. Or I would follow techniques that were proven, techniques that would work, but they didn't work for me because they really didn't align with who I was. And I was terrified. Imposter syndrome makes it hard for you to ask for help because here's the thing. You want everyone to think that you got this. It's no big deal. And coming from the childhood that I came from, right? Being an abused child, you will learn imposter syndrome really young because that's why every child that has been through something like that, you were taught everything has to look perfect on the outside. You never let anyone know what's going on outside of that unit. I knew that. And that really paralyzed me for so very long. And then the comparing ourselves to others. Oh, well, they can do that. And little do we know, we're all walking around with the same fears, but we're not supporting each other. And that's what I want to do. I want to support each other. My goal is to impact as many people as possible and help to get them past these fears so that they can live their purpose. They can live their potential because the world needs us. We've got to raise consciousness, right? We have got to start living our purpose and living our dreams. So how do you overcome imposter syndrome? Well, one, you actually acknowledge that it's going on. Stop comparing yourself to others. And here's a big one. Reframe those negative thoughts into positive ones. When you have a negative thought, don't go down that rabbit hole. It just reinforces it. Because how does our brain learn? Our brain learns from communication. Well, it learns from what we tell it, right? And if you're constantly telling it negative things, I can't do this, oh my God, well, guess what? It believes it. So you've got to reframe those. And I'm not saying we all think them. Even if you did it 51% of the time, if you reframed those negative thoughts 51% of the time, you would have amazing shift in your life. So I'm not talking everything. It doesn't need to be your full-time job. And even if you just didn't put any emotion to it. When those negative thoughts came, you just observe them and let them go. Even if you didn't put a positive one there, but you didn't judge yourself, right? You didn't identify with it, because you know that an emotion, good or bad, if you do not identify with it, if you don't put any judgment on it, it will go away in 90 seconds. And we know you can be thinking about a negative thought for days, weeks, sometimes years. Let that go. You are not your emotions. And then set realistic expectations and share how you're feeling, because you're going to be shocked. Those of you that experience it like I have, when you talk to someone else, one, they're going to feel relief as well, because 9 times out of 10, they've been there. They might be there right now. And just you sharing it with them helps them to move past it also. You can move past it together. Perfectionism. Yeah, anyone had that? All the time, right? Well, what is perfectionism? We are so highly critical of ourselves that we can barely move on. We can't move. It paralyzes us. So we procrastinate and we just don't do it. Well, if I can't do it right, I'm just not going to do it at all. How many times have you said that? The other thing is difficulty delegating. Well, I've only one that can do it right is me. I might as well just do it myself. Women have a really tough time with that. You've got to delegate. As I work with small businesses, men and women, right? One of the number one things, they have trouble scaling. Well, you know why they have trouble scaling? Because they have trouble delegating, because they're perfectionists. I worked with the consulting firm that I was with prior to that. We had a gentleman that worked with us, and he'd worked with Jeff Bezos at Amazon. And one of the things he said, and it stuck with me, whether you're a fan of Jeff Bezos or Amazon or not, you can't deny the man has had just a little bit of success in his life. What his rule is, I don't know if it's a whole Amazon rule or just for people that work with him, is you get it to 80%. If he finds out that someone took extra time getting whatever it was, I don't care if it's an email, whatever, a project from 80 to 100%, you could be fired. Because his philosophy was taking it from 1% to 80%, that gives you all your value. And that takes a particular amount of time, whatever the task is. But getting in that from that 80 to 100 can take twice as much time. And you're going to get a fraction of value from that. So 80%. And I know most of you are sitting there going, are you kidding me? There's no way. Trust me. I do it. I try it. And it really is true. So perfectionism is nothing more than protectionism. You're not really perfecting anything. You're simply protecting yourself from something else. So how do we get over? Again, acknowledge it's there. Identify your specific negative patterns and setting realistic goals. So many times when we're dealing with perfectionism, it's because we've set this goal that's just ridiculously out there, right? It is not, and I get it, whether it's all the, set big goals and don't limit yourself. And yeah, if it's too high of a gradient though, your brain is just going to throw it out. You have to be realistic. And here's what I tell my clients. Set your goal. If it doesn't make you nervous, it's not big enough. Your goal should make you nervous and get the little butterflies in your stomach. That's when you know it's enough, right? So don't set wimpy goals, of course, but set them just so they make you a bit uncomfortable. Celebrate your progress. So many times, even little things, because our brain needs evidence. Every time you push past a habit that's holding you back, you push past your fear, acknowledge it. Wow. Okay. So I was getting off that stage, singing karaoke, voice cracking. Now, you know what? That wasn't so bad. Kind of felt good. Huh. Wasn't as terrifying as I thought. Like I said those things in my head to myself to give my brain evidence that, yeah, I can do the hard things. I can push past fear. Things do not have to be perfect in order for people to want them, in order for people to appreciate them. And then set time limits. That's a big thing for perfectionism. Give yourself a set amount of time and then be done. It's out the door, you go, right? Do not let yourself sit there agonizing over or not doing it at all. So, fear of failure. That is so huge, right? And it's not just fear of failure, it can be fear of success. I've had both. I've had both, one right after the other. And it's the same. If you can see, they're very similar. These fears give us similar reactions, and there's similar ways that we can get past them. So, what I always tell people is ask yourself, so what if the worst happened? Put yourself there. Because here's the thing, we are most afraid of the unknown. Remember, I said fear is being afraid of what's going to happen next or what's not going to happen next. Well, if you get yourself in a position and you're living it and you're feeling it, and you, okay, so here's worst case scenario. I started this business. It doesn't work. I have a hard time paying the bills. Right? Oh, what if I lost the house? What if everyone laughed at me? Like, really get there, feel it, like vividly imagine it as if it's happening. Because guess what? That's going to take the fear out of it. It's not going to totally, you're going to be like, woohoo, can't wait to do this, but it's not going to paralyze you. It's not going to give you perfectionism and imposter syndrome and fear of failure and not doing anything and all of that. And then ask yourself, what if I did nothing? Normally, that's a worst case scenario than if you did something. Because guess what? Our brain does not work well with indecision. Our brain wants us to make a decision. You make a decision not based out of fear. Right? Make a decision that is when your emotions subside. For me, if I'm making a decision, then I need to wait overnight because I'm an emotional. For those of you that know human design, I'm a manifesting generator, an emotional manifesting generator. And what that means is I cannot make snap decisions. I'm not talking about what I'm having for breakfast. I'm talking a bigger decision. I have to wait because I've got to wait for those emotions to subside. And what I recognized was I used to always pride myself on making really fast decisions. Oh, I got this. People came to me, need a decision, go to Brooke. A lot of those decisions were based on fear because my emotions were high. Right? And now I wait and I think about throughout the day. So here's a decision. Do I hire this PR firm? Well, I don't know. And I observe what my thoughts are throughout the day. And the next morning, I wake up and okay, do I do that? Well, if my thoughts were mostly negative or mostly no, it's a no. If my thoughts were, yeah, this sounds good, then it's a yes. If my thoughts were, well, I'm not really sure, it's kind of yes, kind of no, then it's just a pause, but a brief pause. So here's what I want you to experiment. I don't want you to think you have to make the right decision. No, you just have to make one. Make a move. If it's wrong, you can always readjust. It's okay. And also, when you make a decision, be aware of how you're feeling. before and after the decision. If it was a bad decision, how did I feel right before I made it? Did I have a pit in my stomach? Was I a little nervous? Probably a good indication that it wasn't right. And the evidence is showing it wasn't a good decision. Now, did you feel it was a good decision? Oh, I felt calm. I felt at peace. That's a good decision. You want to give yourself evidence so that you can become your own expert. You don't need me or anyone else. Everything you need to succeed and be fulfilled and live your purpose is inside you. My goal is to show you who that person is, to remind you of your greatness, to show you your gifts and what lights you up so that you can go out and also make an amazing impact in this world. So 2 years ago, my life changed again. It's happened a few times, but 2 major times. Being on that airplane completely changed the direction of my life. 2 years ago, it did the same. I had to make a decision on whether to stay with a consulting firm that I'd been with for 16 years that I helped build. Right? I had family there. I had really important, and I was terrified. I did not know what to do. And I found myself again. I'm here. And I have to say, I have to admit, I judged myself quite a bit on it. Like, how am I here again? I thought I dealt with this over 20 years ago. Well, guess what? Growth isn't always easy. It's mostly a little challenging and hard. So what happened is I found myself stuck and unfulfilled. So despite my success, I started to lack purpose. I was not in alignment with where they were going and where I wanted to go. Didn't make it right, wrong, just made it not in alignment for me. I was struggling to find balance. Remember, I'd given myself COVID and shingles at the same time. Pretty good indication I was not in alignment, not listening to my body and just pushing it. But I was terrified to change. I didn't want to leave. It felt comfortable, even if it didn't always feel good. It felt safe. It felt comfortable. And my relationships were strained. I was struggling to connect. I was struggling to connect with my partner, my children, my colleagues, my clients. That usually wasn't my thing. I have typically a pretty good time connecting with people. That's kind of what I do, right? But I was struggling with it. And I recognized that over that 2-year period, and when I had been feeling this way, I was making those quick decisions because I was afraid. And when I used to when I was afraid, I would quickly get into action because I needed to force it. I needed to make a difference and let's make this happen. And it was very masculine energy that did not suit me. So I was getting burnt out and overwhelmed. And I started to feel numb all over again. I felt those feelings again, like kind of gray. Like, what is going on? How do I not know what I want? And I was a bit lost and I had no idea where to go. And I took what I'd always done. I took what I knew and I sat with it and I meditated on it. Right. And I did breath work and I did the things to calm my nervous system so that then I could make the decision. And I made the decision to leave. And it was the best decision for me and the firm because we weren't in alignment anymore. I'm holding them back as much as they're holding me back. So right when that happened, something miraculous happened. I'd been introduced to human design 10 years ago. But at the time I was like, it's complicated and I'm all about integration. I don't do anything that I know I can't integrate or that I don't want to integrate into my daily life or that I can't understand how to teach it to someone else. Because remember, that's my purpose. So it came to me again 2.5 years ago, it might be 3 years ago, regardless. And I really started to dive in. I thought, whoa, I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to heal myself, and then teach others how I healed myself. I can do that. And it makes me feel good. It allowed me to embrace the change, let go of what was no longer serving me, even though it had for years, it no longer was. It helped me to get back to that balance. I don't love the work-life balance statement. It's just, to me, what feels right for you. Being a manifesting generator, work lights me up. Like, I love to work. And my children are projectors. They need more rest than I do. Other people, so it's what is right for you. It's the correct balance for you. Also, my relationships started improving. What I recognized was I was no longer committing. I was kind of only half in on everything because I was afraid and I wasn't in alignment anymore. I started to commit, so much so that my partner and I, after being together for 11 years, are getting married next year. Never thought we were going to do that, but we recognized the reasons behind why we didn't get married no longer served us anymore. It was different. We needed that for our own growth. And it helped me to see the signs, because I can easily get into functional burnout. It helped me to see the signs of when I was starting to burn out. What was in alignment for me? What gave me energy and what took my energy away? And I rediscovered myself. It helped me to understand again at this age of my life, right? I'm 56 years old. It's different than when I was 34. What I want is different. Who I am is different. With every thought that goes through our mind, we're different. So it helped me to look at, who am I? What do I want? What's my genius that I have to give to the world? What's holding me back? What are the challenges that I'm experiencing? Hey, how can I give this to the world? And it helped me through awareness, because I want everyone to understand you can create life on your terms. You can live a life exactly how you want it. You can have success and fulfillment. So your journey to success and fulfillment, it can start right now, tonight. So are you ready to wake up feeling energized and inspired? Make more confident choices and decisions. Not be paralyzed, not be stuck with those fears. Build stronger connections with people. Because here's the thing, when we're out of alignment, we are blocking the field that brings in people that can love us, that can support us, that can help us live our purpose. We can achieve more success without the stress. My goal and what I do less than I've ever done before, and I create more success while having so much fun. I love it. Every day I wake up and I'm like, this, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this. I can't believe how many people that I can help. I never thought possible. So jump off the hamster wheel and live your life on your terms. So these are just a few things that I wanted to share with you. I'm going to go through really quick on this. Bana is a fabulous, fabulous coach. I helped her with strategic insight, actionable advice, consistent accountability. It helped her to move her business into alignment with who she was, so that she was attracting the right clients, so that she was giving her family and herself what she needed. Alia, she's a fabulous wellness. She owns a wellness studio. She came to me, she just had she had a death in her family, in her immediate family, and she was struggling. And she didn't know what to do. She didn't know necessarily what lit her up. And so we were able to work on her personal and professional development, providing her with the clarity and the tools that she needed to create her business the way that made her feel joy, fulfillment, and achieve the success she needed. Amy is a fab. I was so happy and still so happy to help Amy. She has a huge mission. She helps kids. She helps athletes and kids to own their own power, to switch their mindset. Like, she's creating the future. And I was able to be a part of that, to support her in creating this business that is shaping our children. So what we've done, you can now choose. I have done consulting and coaching for years, over 20 years. And I really want to be able to help everyone, not just rich people. I want to help everyone. So we decided to create the Success by Design Club, where we're going to talk about the things that can help you to create the life that you want to create. We're going to talk about mindset, personal and professional relationships, right? Leadership, business strategies, communication and influence. I'm going to teach you psychology, behavioral science, human design. You don't have to be a coach on it, but I'm going to teach you the things that are going to help to move you forward. What you'll get with this as soon as you join is you're going to have a foundational masterclass. It's a 45-minute class, and it's going to give you a baseline. So it's going to help you to understand the psychological principles that help you to make the changes in your life so that you can come to our first call on December 3rd, ready to go, like really at that place where you're open, right? You're open to learn more. You're open to coaching. You're open to a community of people, of like-minded people that want the same things that you do. We're going to have a monthly live class with me where I'll be doing Q&As, hot seat coaching, exercises. We're going to help you to be able to integrate what you're learning into your life, because then what we give you is a resource library. And it is going to have the call recordings. It already has, oh my gosh, Chris will know this. She takes care of this stuff, but it has PDFs and videos and program, like so many resources that will help you to be able to learn at your own pace so that you can be on the call, and we're thinking about too, and having, whether it's going to be a Facebook group or something else, so that, or maybe a Telegram, so that all of you can connect with each other and talk with each other too, and talk about what you're experiencing in between the call times. And all of that's going to be $22 a month. That is, you can give up your coffee at Starbucks, right? Maybe a few a week and be able to pay the $22 a month. I want everyone, we want thousands of people in the club that we can support. You'll be the first ones to know anything that's happening at BMD Consulting. You'll be the first to get programs. You'll get discounts on the programs. We already have 3 or 4 programs that are out there that, you'll be able to go through at a discounted rate. Anytime, we're going to be doing masterminds next year. We're going to be opening up other communities. We're going to be doing so much. We have so much planned, and you'll be the first to know about it and to be able to engage in it. So become a member today. You can do $22 a month, or you can do $249 a year. You can click on this QR code, or Chris is going to put in the chat. You can click on a link, whatever you prefer. And we're going to give you a bonus if you do it in 24 hours. You're going to be able to book a free 30-minute private discovery call for me, so that I'm going to help you to get set up beautifully for our first call on December 3rd. I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need, right? Specific to you, unique to you. We're also going to ask you to fill out a survey when you join, so that I already have in my head what I believe I want the months to be. And I want to hear from you, because I want to know what you want, because we're going to be able to change it on the fly. Those of you that know me know that I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. Whatever I'm feeling in that moment, what I feel people need to hear from me, that's what I go with. So we'll shake things up as needed, depending upon what the group wants. And you can cancel at any time, no questions asked. I do not hold people hostage. I don't want anyone in my club that doesn't want to be there. So that is not a problem. All right, Chris, I'm going to ask you to go. I feel like I ran through that in record time, so there may be some questions that people have. Anyone can jump off mute. Chris, if you want to jump off mute and ask any questions that may have come up, that you think, oh, I have to unmute you. Okay, so how is that going to work? Hold 1 second. Well, that's a good freaking question. Everyone and anyone. It's chat, that's not it. Let me get up here. Maybe that's something. Here we go, participants. Sorry, guys, I am not the techie on this. Disable. Let me stop sharing and see if I can get it from here. For some reason, I apologize. It is not. Oh, here we go. More. Okay, Chris, see if that works.
Yay!
There we go. I did it.
Awesome. I just actually PM'd the question in case it's helpful to read it, but it was really came through when we were talking about overcoming fear. And the question is, what happens when you have an audience, a team of people who are relying on you to not fail? And I thought maybe you might spend a little time just talking at a high level about trusting yourself and how through human design, we each have a very unique strategy and authority that helps us, be confident in the decisions we make and, moving forward and kind of confronting fear. And is it Renee?
I call her Ro because that's easier.
Ro. Okay, perfect. Well, this came from Ro. So, Ro, if you have more to add to that, maybe you can unmute as well. If
Well,
not, Ro, over to you. Overcoming fear. Yep.
Yeah, I think, hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Hi, Ro. Yes, we can.
Brooke, you did such a fantastic job. And yeah, you were talking about fear. So, as a leader, I was interested in hearing your insight on how do you fear with an audience. Sometimes if you're failing and it's private and no one sees it, it's a lot easier to endure. But what's the strategy on failing with a team of people that rely on you to not fail?
So this is my leadership style and what I believe with all of my years of experience on this. You have to be vulnerable and let people know what you're going through to a point, right? So as a leader, you are the visionary, you are who people are looking towards. So there's a fine line, but just letting people know when it's appropriate exactly what's happening. And here's where the real growth happens. It's not that you failed or not that you made a mistake. It's how you react to it. That's what people and your team is going to know. It's how you react to that because, as I said, challenges, failures, mistakes, they can teach us more than our successes. So use that. Use, especially after you've reacted beautifully, you have a solution that you're moving towards, share that with people, give them permission to be themselves, give them permission to share that as well and to grow and to start using you as a role model because you're fabulous at that. You want them to know it's okay. We're either winning or we're learning, nothing more. There is no thing as failure here, especially I know you're, in a startup type. That's never going to be perfect ever. And it's okay just to say, hey, you know what? Here's what happened. And here's why I believe this could have been a good thing for us. And here's what we're going to do about it. But it's all in the way that you react. Did that help, Ro? You're on mute if you're talking. I'm just going to assume that was an amazing answer I gave. Anyone else? I know we're 1 minute over. Oh, it won't let you unmute. What is happening?
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, Brooke, it's Jean.
Hi, Jean.
Hello. I love what you said about facing the fear and thinking of all the possibilities that could go wrong. In Oxford leadership, there's we call it pre-mortem. So like you do a post-mortem after a project is completed to see, what were your lessons learned. And the pre-mortem is looking at, what are all the things that could potentially go wrong, and list them out and rank and rate them of what's got the highest risk, and then coming up with risk mitigation plans, and also how to recognize when those issues start to pop up. Then you can go to your game plan of, okay, I thought this could happen. The likelihood was high that it would happen, and here is my game plan on how to address it. And that can sort of calm the fears quite a bit. And I love the fact that you brought that up, because that's not something that a lot of people talk about, but it can definitely help. So thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, thank you so much for bringing that up. You're right. It's so very important. That's how, because in the club, we'll talk about this a lot more, but one of the things is our unconscious mind, what its job is to run our nervous system, to make our lungs pump, to make our heart pump, to make it right. We don't have to think about any of that. It's behind the scenes doing it. So what it believes it needs to keep us running is to be safe. And what does safe mean to our unconscious mind? No change, stay the same. So we need to by doing that, we're proactively giving the unconscious mind the evidence it needs that, okay, this probably won't kill us. This might not be a bad thing. You have to do that, or it will sabotage you every time, because our unconscious mind has perfect memory. It knows everything from all 5 senses and beyond, exactly what we've done in our life. So when we start to, if you've ever noticed, and we'll go through the evolution of growth in the club, but there is a phase that we go through. And typically, whenever you've been trying to do, whether you're talking a diet or anything, about the 2-week time frame, you will start getting doubts come up in your mind. Well, that's your unconscious mind saying, oh no, they're getting ready to change. Maybe we need to, so it starts sending you these negative thoughts. What if I fail? Well, all the negativity things start coming in. So what we're going to teach you is how to get past that. Because the goal isn't to never feel the doubts. It's impossible. And you want to, because you want to celebrate. You're like, okay, the doubts are coming in. It must mean I'm changing. I'm moving in the right direction. So those are the things that we want to talk about. We want to give you practical solutions that you can easily implement in your life to be able to continue moving forward in a direction towards your purpose and fulfillment and ultimately success. So thank you so much for bringing that up, Jean. Anyway, I probably have time for one more. Anyone else have a question? All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I cannot wait to see each and every one of you in the Success by Design Club. Thanks so much and have a great night.